We in this, bro.
Okay, well, I mean, that's one for the kids. I get you.
Yeah, no, definitely. Um,
We're a family show.
Hello out there in television land. All right, here's the deal.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Lance, that bald mofo over there, and Arrow, the other bald mofo with a hat. At the movies, Lancey boy, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, my friend. How have you been? How is your nice winter going? The holiday season.
Well, I'm in California, so it's raining, pissing rain, but still the holidays. I'm feeling the fucking the spirit, if you will.
Yeah,
Enjoying time with family. Yeah, I am. I love Christmas, man.
All right. You seem like the guy that'd be the anti-Christmas guy. I apologize.
No, man, I love Christmas, man. Food, family, Lethal Weapon. Can't go wrong with Chris Cobra.
To Richard Donner, huh?
Yeah, Mr. Donner. Thank you.
I take that off.
So yeah, man. What about yourself?
Going sledding, going skiing, just enjoying, the winter wonderland. I'm living life, man. I mean, I'm not a big Christmas guy, but I do like lights and I like food, so I think it's pretty solid,
Well, with that said, before we jump into today's movie, which of course it's actually a holiday movie, you know that, right? Because it's set at Christmas and New Year's. It's somewhere in there. It's a holiday movie.
Okay.
Hey,
Sure.
the movie, by the way, is Night of the Comet, and you guys go check it out and tell me if it's a holiday movie or not in the comments below. Before we jump into that, though, I'm going back to old school shit. What are you drinking?
Well, you're gonna hate me, but I don't have anything, so I got myself some electric lights and some water.
In keeping with the spirit of the holidays, I am going with eggnog, and not just any other eggnog. I am going with, it's really delicious, the Screwball eggnog.
Well, I'll say this: I love eggnog. I am. It is one of those divisive things. You love or you don't. I am very, very pro eggnog, so I'm down.
I'm a huge fan, man. So, with that said, a cheers to all of you. Cheers to you, Lancey boy. To all our friends.
Hello, my friends!
Okay, well, let's do Night of the Comet, 1984, directed by Tom Ender. There's a D in there, and I better be silent. I don't know.
Eberhard.
D and T don't make sense, so I'm going to say Tom, and it's spelled in some fancy way too. Enderhart. I think he did. But honey, he blew up the kid. He did an awesome episode of Park Lose Can't Lose.
Dude, he
and
did.
Of course,
actually, one of your favorite movies, Captain Ron.
Oh no shit!
Yeah, man.
I'm so enamored by Kurt Russell in that movie, and of course Martin Short. Great movie, one of the best. That's a 4K release. I'm looking forward to. Catherine, Mary Stewart, Kelly Maroney, Robert Beltran.
Yeah,
and honestly, I'd probably say Kelly Maroney's second biggest movie, if I'm guessing. And of course,
Chopping Mall.
Yeah, Chopping Mall, I was thinking it's the first. Yeah. And Catherine Mary Stewart.
Last Starfighter.
See, I'm a little bit younger, so to me, she'll always be my girl from Weekend at Bernie's. But Last Starfighter with the great Lance Guest, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have many guys with my name, so when I find a good one, I'm like, that's my guy,
Yeah, no, good cast, actually. For me, this was like one of those movies, like in the VHS days, I saw the box, I think the cover was something like people looking up. It was kind of like a window behind it, the OG cover of it. I discovered the film on VHS, obviously. It did come out theatrically and made like 15 million on a budget of 800,000 or something like that. It was pretty good. Came out the same year as Terminator, Gremlins. And I loved that movie when I was young. I loved it. And I hadn't watched it really since then. So it's been a minute. So watching it again with adult eyes,
Oh, look. I don't know what you're seeing, but don't do anything stupid, okay?
Well, let me give you my history because I think it's going to
go
alter
ahead.
kind of what you think real quick. I didn't grow up with this. It's one of those I don't even remember seeing at the video store. It's kind of a cool cover, so I'm surprised I wouldn't. At least the cover I'm looking at IMDb, but probably in my 20s. I've heard about it. I think I saw what's her name, Kelly Maroney, was talk about it more than Catherine Mary Stewart. And so probably like 25, 26, I finally picked it up. And based on like the pictures of Maroney with a machine gun and like there's just the guy with like the face that's kind of peeled on, I was expecting something different. This is a lot more, I don't want to say family friendly because it's not family friendly. It's cuter than I had anticipated. I think it's good. But it's not what I thought it would be, and I'm kind of wishing the movie that it sets itself off to be existed. Does that make any sense?
What did you want me to do, Oscar? Take her out back and shoot her in the head?
Yeah, no,
Like,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's two cute little teens, kind of like having a fun time. Like it almost has like a John Hughes thing, but also weirdly enough, there's these these people left over from the how do you say it? The thing happens, they all just disappear and die. They all become like little red sand. The military is a bad guy. Like there's things that I'm like, what kind of movie are you trying to make? So I don't hate it, but I got to be honest. I think this is absolutely a movie just based on the tone is probably more for nostalgia and childhood than it would be some dude in his mid-20s.
No, I totally agree. I mean, it's very schlocky. It's almost like an updated parody, if you will, of those old like schlocky 50s, horror sci-fi movies. You have the scientists, and then their little base, up to no good, and that's what it came off as, like very light, and even the premise, if you think about it, the world ends. Who's left? Two valley girls, who love shopping and playing, arcade games, Actually, the initial premise, if you think about it, is much better than the film that came out of it. It's a cool premise.
Yeah, but what makes it cool is these two like young valley girls that are sort of like living a fun life with everybody dead should also be facing like, I don't know if they're the undead, but some of these people that are left are messed up. They're like the guy in the alley that attacks Catherine Mary Stewart at the beginning. Like there's like little hints. This stuff. Or the whole thing, the mall is really interesting with the weird, creepy guy and the little gang. But it's like, okay, but that should be them like murdering and like fighting off and like, I don't know, like Clueless meets
28 Days Later.
Sure, yeah, Dawn of the Dead, something that's what I kind of got. I thought this was going to be, because again, you see the pictures, the machine guns, and these moments, but then there's so much in between. They're just kind of hanging out. I'm like, I again, not bad. It's not a bad thing, because again, I could dig the cute '80s vibe of this, because I like a shitload of Johnny Hughes movies. It's all about fucking cute teens just hanging out, but don't tease me with this interesting post-apocalyptic land, and it's almost like the money ran out, or they only had a budget for like 4 bad dudes and like 4 scenes, and they just stretched it out over 90 minutes. It's a weird tone, because it didn't really land it.
How about we go about it this way? Tell me what you liked about it.
I liked the teens. I liked Maroney and Catherine Stewart. I thought their chemistry was good. I liked the look of the film, and I liked sort of the style. Like I actually would say it's really well directed. Like the wide lenses, interesting kind of shots. So when it worked, it worked. This is one of those that I might have to kind of come to the terms where it's not the movie I want, and maybe should watch this again on the movie that I got, if that makes sense. Because I don't think it's bad. It's not a bad movie. I would actually say I know we're being negative, but I'm going to say that I like this movie. I just, watching again, I got the same feeling of like, oh man, it's not quite there. But in terms of chemistry and acting, dude, and the look, I love like the tints, that Mars-ish tint they have on this thing. It's a pretty movie.
When the comet passes, he has like, almost looks like an Atari screen or something, like these weird colors going through and everything. The director, what's his name again? Thomas Eberhard. I'm gonna call him Hard On. Hard On really knew how to shoot on a low budget. I know that all the deserted scenes. They would shoot really early in the morning before traffic came. They were stealing shots all over the place, And he made the most of it. So he made a $800,000 movie look like, easily a $5 million movie.
Yeah, it looked epic for sure. Yeah.
I love, like yourself, I love the two broads. I thought they were great, really good chemistry together and also good individually. I could have done without Robert Beltran as Hector. Also could have done, actually, that was funny because the opening scene, I don't know if you remember, Catherine Mary Stewart, she bangs this dude in the cinema booth. And right away, I'm like, okay, it's a comedy because there's no fucking way a chick this fine would bang that fucking thing. I was like, really? You couldn't have hired like a better looking actor? There's no way. No offense to you, Mr. Actor, whoever the fuck you are, but you're like, she was out of your league, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Are you kidding? We spend the night in here, we end up making it, and you give me $15?
I love the music, very synth and a lot of pop rock 80s type of, songs. What else did I like? The makeup effects on the zombies, all four of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was wondering if to call them zombies because they act like them, but they're, I don't know. It's kind of a weird tightrope walk with those things because they act like them, but they don't really establish them, and then they're not really around.
Yeah, no, they're not, and that's that was. Anyways, I'll keep what I didn't like for down the road, even though that's all we've been doing since we got here, saying what we don't like.
Well, the mall scene where they're dancing in the shop and getting guns, and it's like a montage, and they get kidnapped. Like, I think that whole scene is great.
I didn't buy the gang, with the sunglasses, these little weasels, It was again a Halloween Ends kind of thing, the band,
Come on, Willie, she means it.
Miss, you're not getting the point.
It was those.
Yeah,
guys.
but I mean, if they survived the nuclear apocalypse, I'm okay. Then the face then looked interesting. I mean, I don't know. I just think that's the movie that I think that's when the movie is strongest. When there was some sort of threat and these cute girls were trying to like get through it. There's not too much like in their way. There is, but I feel like the way it established itself, like that's a good scene to me because I'm like, okay, girls are doing the shit, things happen, and they need to get out of it. Okay, cool. And there's going to be a big thing, and then it kind of just ties itself up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Actually, I have a random question, and you guys and dolls, if you know the answer, you could answer it. At a certain point, Maroney says something along the lines, her gun jams, which to me looks like an Uzi. But then she says something along the lines, "Oh, Dad should have gotten us Uzis," or something like that.
See, this is the problem with these things. Daddy would have gotten us Uzis.
You remember that bit?
Yeah, because it's the gun that looks like this with the long stock, correct?
Yeah, which looks like a fucking Uzi to me, but.
I think it's an Uzi, but Uzi could be like a brand name where that's like the cheap version of it, like Kleenex and tissue. I'm not the biggest gun guy in terms of like specifics. I know what a Beretta looks like and a Desert Eagle. So I don't know. I feel like I'm not qualified to answer that because it could have just been, it's a cheaper version, like that's the off brand, or that's not an Uzi and I'm an idiot. An Uzi could be another gun. I mean, I don't know. But that's an 80s gun for sure. Because if you notice, after the 80s, we for some reason stopped using that fucking gun. The gun was in like Die Hard. It was in like all Lethal Weapons. It was like the action movie gun. And then they're like, well, I'm assuming it must be a shitty gun. It must be like the DeLorean of guns. Because there's a hard line between when I saw it in movies and when I didn't. But I like the fact that they're just so casual about the guns. I wish there's more of that. I thought that was like fun. Because you expect them to be like princesses around it and they...
they know how to handle themselves. So it's on y'all, Was that an Uzi she was holding before she said the Uzi line, or was it another type of gun? So let me know, comments below. We'll take it from there.
Jesus, that was bugging you. That's no answer, man.
Where did you watch the movie? Probably on the Scream Factory Blu-ray like myself, correct?
No, I have a digital copy. I don't own this movie.
Okay. Is it me or the dialogue and the music often enough was not mixed properly?
I mean, I wouldn't consider this a well a well mixed film, but I kind of feel like a lot of 80s stuff has like awkward ADR and stuff. So I don't know. To me, I'd have to like see it on VHS to see if it was worse or better. So I can't tell you that. I would say it's not an amazingly mixed film, but again, I could point it out to, you know, a lot of stuff from that era. I almost feel like it was what it was. But on your end, you're saying it was worse.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it came off like a badly mixed movies in a lot of times actually. And I was like, really? I don't. Well, then again, when I was a kid, I didn't know what a fucking mix was. So,
And
so
I feel,
maybe it was my Blu-ray, or maybe it's just how the movie is. But
I was gonna say I did notice more this time, but I feel again this is something I notice a lot more in these types of 80s movies, is like how obvious the ADR is.
yeah,
Because you and me were chatting off screen about Night of the Creeps not too long ago, and there's a couple scenes when like he's counting down at the end where it's like he's not even fucking saying anything. He's walking out the house. Where I'm like, man, it's weird. Because nowadays, like you'd have to be like, no, let's go back. And back then, it was just like, okay, John, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, Lance, it'll be fine. And it's like we're in the same room. Like, no. So I noticed that in this, but I'm also being kind of picky because I get it. If you're shooting shit on the fly in the streets to shut it down real quick, then I get it. That I'm sure sound was not.
Yeah, they did what they could. It was an indie film, even though for me, $800,000 budget is a lot, but still an indie film.
You wish you'd make movies in the 80s, man, when you could just get that money,
Yeah, the good old days, but I digress. What I didn't like, let me start if you don't mind. It's exactly what you said before. It's not the movie I thought, or I remembered that it was. So I thought, I remembered chicks, world ends, zombies. That's what, or whatever the fuck they are. That's what I remembered from it. So watching it again, I'm like, dude, there's no zombies. There's like the dude at the beginning. There's one in the dream sequence. I think there's like two more. So I'm like, okay, that sucks. That's kind of like a waste of opportunity, because the premise is there. Like the setup is great. Two valley girls who knows how, take care of themselves, or some of the last survivors at the end of the world, and they're zombies, and you're not gonna run with that shit. You're gonna focus on these rinky-dink doctors, and one of them played, of course, by Jeffrey Lewis, who's Juliette Lewis's dad. Great character actor. Actually, he was in Double Impact. He was in
nice.
one of Leone's Western. Forgot which one. Anyways, a great actor. But so maybe it was because of the budget. I'm thinking they didn't run with it.
But here's the issue, though, is because they sold on this. Like I think the best thing they could have done was sell in the reverse. Like sell it as just like two teens in the apocalypse, just shopping and hanging out. And then I'm surprised when there's a couple action sequences and a zombie here, and the military stuff doesn't seem as wasted. Because at this age, I'm like, it's not a talkie movie, so we can't sell that, especially this kind of 80s movie. But the cool stuff isn't enough. But the characters I do like, but it's almost like I just don't get enough of anything. It's not John Hughes talky enough to stand its own as a just a movie about life, about two teens just like fucking hanging out. It's not zombie enough to be an action movie. They don't really play with, outside of just like atmosphere and the look, the post-apocalyptic setting. Everything they do, I think, is good, but nothing is great, and everything seems kind of stretched. So it's a weird movie because I can't say that I hate it, but nothing fully lands. It's the best example of, it's good, but it should be great, because I do think Catherine and Kelly were charming enough where I wanted to see them kick ass. They're both cute. They're both bubbly. Like that's a better movie. If not, then give me a John Hughes movie in the apocalypse that happens to have a zombie or two. But without doing one or the other, we kind of are in this awkward middle. And again, I feel bad because like I came in here thinking like, I think it's a fine movie. It's not bad. I've seen a lot worse. I think it's actually an entertaining thing, something you could like put on with like a younger generation, a younger kid. But it does feel wasted. I mean, maybe that's a cynical version of me in this life, or this age, I should say. But but it's like, shit, this is actually prime for a remake. Like, this is a movie you remake. Focus
totally
it, cut it down. You could have Maroney and Catherine on their own. Legacy sequel. They're fucking, like all haggard and like, stay with us. But then blow a lot more fuckers up. But it's good. And it's funny being in this episode, like saying how I'm sad that it's good, but it could be great. It could be great.
I totally concur, my friend. I totally concur.
It ends in such a positive way. Not that it needed a negative ending, but like the sky clears up. Maroney gets in a car with a dude. They have like a date. I almost feel it was like a little too like, and it's okay. It's like the world ended.
We in this, bro.
Okay, well, I mean, that's one for the kids.
It's that movie. It's like I said. I thought I was watching like a serious horror movie, but it's kind of like a parody. It's kind of like a comedy. I did like the little touch they put. You remember the opening of the film? She's playing like an arcade game. It was actually Tempest, the Atari game. And there's this dude, there's like 3 initials, I forgot what they were, that beat her record.
That's the guy.
That's the dude at the end. That's his license plate. So I thought that was a nice little touch. And in fact,
that's cute. I don't know.
In fact, if I remember correctly, and don't quote me on this because I may be wrong, I'm old, but not obsolete. It was a reshoot because when they did a test screening, people wanted to know who the fuck was the guy that beat her at the game. So, they did a little pickup shot and, put it on the plate, and I thought that was cute.
I don't necessarily mind that aspect because I do like anything that calls back. It's the old-fashioned, setup and payoff, even if the payoff is small and the setup is small. I think it's smart. I don't know. I needed something a little more. That doesn't sound like Army of Darkness. Like these two girls should have, like, the guy should have got in the car. Sky should have still been red. They should have the shotguns and the Uzis. But like I wanted them to go off on a more adventure. It just seemed like that everything was solved. I'm like, I don't know. Again, just a great and an ending that explains everything that I have issues with, which is that's cute. Like, I didn't need it, even if it wasn't serious. Like, there's like, you could have gone that middle route of been like fun and actiony and winky, but still had some fun action. It just was very like tame. I'm like,
dude, there's hardly any gore in the movie, man. There's no gore in the movie.
What's that supposed to mean?
So I don't know if that's the intention of the filmmakers, because the director, Hardon, also wrote the film. Was that the intention to make this kind of movie, or did he make this kind of movie because of budget limitations? No gore, so, because you don't have time to do prosthetics or anything. 4 zombies, don't have, the time to have 20 of them.
But I feel then don't do the movie, though. You know what I'm saying?
That's easy for you to say, man. At some point, you want to make a movie, you make the movie, and as you make it, if you don't have much money, you compromise and you get her in the bag, and that's the movie that was supposed to be born. It's just, unfortunately for me and for you, obviously.
It just doesn't quite.
It's a movie that just doesn't land, 100%. There's great elements and there's a lot of promise, but the promises are not fulfilled. Outside that douchebag at the beginning being very ugly. So that was fulfilling.
You tell him I'm on my way over and I'm very, 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 very pissed.
The movie came out, it did okay at the box office. Then it did find its life on VHS, and since has become quite the cult classic. I mean, to the point Scream Factory put it out. The actresses, do the convention circuit on a regular basis. So it's a loved film at this point in time. But personally, outside of the, the 2 leads being great, I don't get it. And I'll most likely never watch this movie again, which really breaks my heart to say, because I loved this movie, growing up. I loved it. But watching it today, it just didn't fucking hit.
I'm not against people having love for this. I should say I'm not so cynical. It's one of those, I'm happy for you. I wish I could join you, but it looks like I gotta stay back.
Yeah, no, I sadly agree. One of the last thing, 'cause I was just looking at my notes and I totally forgot about it, and I gotta say it. Did you guys and dolls catch the LL Cool J? Well, it's not a cameo because he was not known yet. I think he was like 16 years old. In the opening, when everybody's like, "Hey, then we're gonna see the comet," the camera pans. It's a young LL Cool J before he got signed on to like his first record label. Before he became famous, so he was basically an extra.
It's not important.
I thought that was hilarious. So, with that said, all of you, Night of the Comet. Unfortunately, Lance and I are pretty much on the same boat. So, what do you think about it? Now, don't tell us what you thought about it based on your memory of it 30 years ago, 20 years ago, or whatnot. Because, do it if you saw it recently like I did. Because if I didn't see the movie yesterday and you asked me, John, what do you think of Night of the Comet? Fucking love it. I love it. Love that movie. But now, sadly, the illusion is gone. It's average at best. So, yeah,
it's good.
Sad.
It's good. It's good.
Sad. I'm gonna go drink more screwball. So let us know what you think in the comments below. I hope you're all enjoying your holidays. And Lancy boy, until next time, my friend.
All right, my friend. I'll see you soon, and hopefully we get a winner, huh? One episode, we're gonna have a winner. We're like, hey, this is great.
Yeah, or one that you hate and one that I love, or vice versa. And by the way, next time, don't show up for fucking water.